Welcome to Fantasia, home the Melodious. My name is Azallea, and today, going to be bringing you guys another update to my Melodious deck. Now, if you guys have been following me on Twitter, you guys know that I put up a poll to see if you guys wanted a Cyber Angel Melodious or a Synchro Melodious deck profile for this month. You guys voted, and Synchro Melodious actually won by a single vote, and the voter turnout was actually pretty high. I wasn't expecting that. And because the votes were split basically 50-50, I decided I'll be doing two deck profiles on Melodious this month, one on the Synchro, which is this one, and then one later on, which is going to be the Cyber Angel one. Okay, so with that being said, I will jump right into this deck profile. So starting off, we play two copies of Soprano, the Melodious Songstress. Now, Soprano's absolutely amazing for facilitating fusion plays, and she's also great because when you special summon her, you can recover one Melodious monster from your graveyard, which is great for generating advantage. And the monsters that we add back to her hand are ones that can be special summoned if you control another Melodious monster. So we play three copies of Kana, the Melodious Diva, and she's great because she puts another level 4 body on the field, which is good for both rank 4 plays and for Synchro plays. Now, the other one that we play is three copies of Sonata, the Melodious Diva. Now, Sonata, I typically don't play her because of her level, but because this is a Synchro variant, her level actually comes up quite a bit, and you can make a variety of different Synchros with her. So, three copies of her because you want to see her in your hand more often than you do Soprano. Next off, we play three copies of Predaplant Orifice Scorpio. Now, Orifice Scorpio is another level 3 monster, but when this card is no more special summon, you can discard one other monster from your hand, and then you can special summon another Predaplant monster from your deck, which is really nice because we can summon Predaplant Darlingtonia Cobra. Now, Darlingtonia Cobra, when it is special summoned by the effect of a Predaplant card, you can actually add one Polymerization or one Fusion spell card from your deck to your hand, and this is really great for searching on Brilliant Fusion, which puts two additional bodies on the field in addition to these two bodies over here, and so you have a variety of different plays that you can go into. Now, another small engine that I run is a Yang Zing engine. So we run one copy of Suani, Fire of the Yang Zing. We also run one copy of Bian, Earth of the Yang Zing. And we run one copy of Chuan, Light of the Yang Zing. And these three cards are absolutely amazing because we actually play Denlong in the extra deck. So if you make a Denlong, which is a level 5 Synchro, you can send Chuan from the deck to the graveyard, which makes Denlong a level 1 tuner. You can go for additional plays, and when Denlong leaves the field, you summon Suani from your deck. And then on your opponent's turn, when you use 9 Pillars of the Yang Zing, which you searched out with Denlong, you can destroy the Suani to summon the Bian from the deck, and then the Chuan from the graveyard. And then you can Synchro these 3 and 1 into a Herald of the Arc Light, so you basically get 2 negations for free, which is really nice. Okay, so next off, we also play one copy of Junk Synchron, which is really great for, again, making a lot of Synchro plays, mostly to summon Herald the Arc Light or a Denlong, because you can actually, when this card is normal summon, target one level 2 or lower monster in your graveyard and special summon it in defense position, so it's really nice. Next off, we're actually playing more tuners, 2 copies of Red Resonator, which is really good, because if you have this and Predaplant Orifice Scorpio or Soprano the Melodious Songstress, you can actually go for a variety of different plays. Now, because if you normal summon this card, you can actually special summon one level 4 or lower monster from your hand. And if this card is special summoned, you can actually target one monster on the field and gain life points equal to its attack. So if you have a high attack monster on your field, like a Crystal Wing, you can actually gain up to like 3,000 life points just by special summoning this, which is great. Okay, so we play 2 copies of that, and the other Resonator that I play is one copy of Synchron Resonator, because if there's a Synchro monster on the field, you can just special summon it straight from your hand, and then if this card leaves the field, you can actually add one Resonator monster from your graveyard back to your hand, which is really good, because if you use this for a Synchro summon, you can actually add the Red Resonator back to your hand and save it for your next turn. Okay, so next cards that I'm going to go into are my Brilliant Fusion targets. So I play one copy of Performage Trick Clown, which is obviously great because you can make rank 4 plays, and it puts a level 4 body on the field in case you want to go for additional Synchros. The next card that I play is one copy of Clear Effector. Now, Clear Effector is really good because it it is a light monster, so you can send it with Brilliant Fusion to summon your Seraphonite, but also because it's a level 2 monster. So if you normal summon your Junk Synchro, you can bring this back, and if this card is sent to the graveyard as a Synchro material, you can actually draw 1 card. And a Synchro monster that uses this as a material cannot be destroyed by card effects. So this is really great for making rank 5 plays with your Junk Synchron, and then having an indestructible monster on your side of the field, much like how Wind Witches help make Crystal Wing indestructible. So the next card that we play is actually 1 copy of Kana Watson. Now, if you don't know what this card does, it is absolutely amazing. During either player's turn, you can actually discard this card to make any effect damage you take this turn 0. Now, the reason why you play this is because it's a level 1 fairy tuner that's a light monster. So you can send this to the graveyard Brilliant Fusion, and if you have something like a Sappho, you can actually add this back to your hand. And if you have Sappho on your field and your opponent can't get rid of her, and you have this in your hand, you can just pitch this anytime during your opponent's turn, and then trigger Sappho during the end phase, which allows you to draw additional cards, recover cards, anything like that. So this is actually a really nice tech and really great for helping you make Crystal Wings, because you can synchro this level 1 tuner with a level 7 synchro monster and then make Crystal Wing that way. And you can always bring this back with Ritual Sanctuary by just shuffling 1 spell card from your deck, from your graveyard back into your deck. So that's always really nice. Okay, so the last card, of course, we need to play 1 copy of Gem Knight. Any Gem Knight works, but I choose to go with Lazuli, because Junk Synchron right here is a level 3 tuner, so if you bring back Lazuli, you can actually go for a Herald the Arc Light, so that's always really nice interaction that I like to go for there. Now, I'm running out of space here, but we have 3 other monsters that we play. We play 1 copy of Saphra, the Queen of Dragons, for our ritual monster. Saphra is actually really great because of all the synergy with the light monsters here. And we also play 1 copy of Cyber Angel Benton. And when she's tributed, you can actually add 1 light fairy type monster from your deck to your hand. So this is actually really nice for helping you search out things like Kana Watson or any of the Melodious monsters that you want. And the last card that we play is 1 copy of Maxi for our hand trap, because if you don't run Maxi, there's no chance of you ever drawing into it, so I like to play 1 copy just in case. Now, this is a lot of monsters, and you're probably wondering why I play 1 copy of Saphra, 1 copy of Benton. Is because Herald the Arc Light, when it's sent to the graveyard, you can actually search out a ritual spell card or a ritual monster card. So because we use Herald the Arc Light in conjunction with Ritual Sanctuary and stuff, it's actually pretty easy to set up a ritual play on your second turn. So that's why I decided to play that. Okay, and you can always bring back Herald the Arc Light with Ritual Sanctuary as well, so you can continuously send it to the graveyard to get additional searches if you don't want to use it for negations. Okay, so yeah, that does it for the monsters. Quite a lot. This is a 45 card deck. Next off, we're going to go into the spell cards. Okay, so for the spell cards, starting off, we're playing 3 copies of Brilliant Fusion, which is absolutely amazing because it's searchable with our Predaplant Darlingtonia Cobra, and it also puts 2 bodies on the field in the form of Seraphonite and Trick Clown. And you can also just send any other light monsters that you need to the graveyard as well with it. So it's like a Foolish Burial as well. Next off, we're playing 3 copies of Ritual Sanctuary, and this is like the bread and butter of this deck, because not only does it help you search out some ritual pieces, but it also lets you bring back important monsters such as Soprano, such as the Kana Watson, so you can go for additional rank 4s or Synchro plays, depending on what you need at the time. And because Ritual Sanctuary is so good, we actually want multiple copies in our hand, just so you can always discard them if you want. For Ritual Sanctuary search effect, we play 3 copies of Terraforming just to search that out. This is so important that we need 3 Terraformings to see it as soon as possible. Now, to help us with some of our searching, because sometimes you don't always get the optimal openings, 1 copy of Preparation of Rites is always great to help search out some of the missing ritual pieces as well. Now, because we only play 1 copy of Saphra, we play 1 copy of Hymn of Light. You only need 1 because Saphra is not like the focus of this deck. She's just something that helps generate some advantage on the side. And it's just another thing that your opponent has to deal with in conjunction to like all the other monsters that are on your side of the field. Next off, we're playing 3 copies of Resonator Call. Now, Resonator Call allows you to search for your red Resonator or your Synchron Resonator, depending on what you need at the moment. This just basically acts as 3 extra copies of whatever you need. And this is really great because it lets you cut down on the red Resonator so you don't open up with multiples of them. And it also lets you it just adds 3 extra monsters basically into your deck. And if you use this to search, it puts additional spells into the graveyard so that Ritual Sanctuary can shuffle them back. And then you can bring back, Hane Watas and whatever you need. Next off, we play one copy of Foolish Burial, just in case Brilliant Fusion is not enough. You want to send something like a Trick Clown, but you also want to send like Kana Watson. You can also use Foolish Burial there. And remember, you can always recycle all of these spell cards with Ritual Sanctuary, so you could potentially just Foolish anything you need over and over if you continuously draw into it. So the next card that I like to play is a spicy little tech, and it's called Rekindling. Now, if you don't know what this does, you can special summon from your graveyard as many fire monsters as possible with 200 defense, but banish them during the end phase. Now, this is amazing because Red Resonator actually has 200 defense, and if you special summon it, Red Resonator can help you gain back life points, and it's amazing because it puts a level 2 tuner on your side of the field, and then you can go for additional Synchro plays, and this, of course, doesn't have any restrictions, unlike a card like Soul Charge. So basically, Rekindling is like a mini Soul Charge to bring back your Red Resonator so you can continue your plays, gain some life points back, and possibly mitigate things like Soul Charge's loss of life points, which is pretty cool. Now, Soul Charge, if you bring back Red Resonator with your Soul Charge, when you activate this, you can actually target a high attack monster on the field and almost mitigate everything. Just basically all you're losing is a battle phase. You regain all the life points that you use for your Soul Charge, and of course Soul Charge is just great in a Synchro deck because you could bring back so many tuners, so many non-tuners, whatever you need. Even these Synchro monsters that you use to Synchro climb into higher monsters, this card is just absolutely phenomenal for helping establish amazing first turn fields or for recovery plays. And yeah, that does it for the spell cards. Next off, we're going to go into the trap cards. So the one trap card that we play in this deck is going to be the 9 Pillars of the Yang Zing. And if you don't know this card, you can actually search this out with Denlong. And if you search this out with Denlong, you can set this card. And it says, when a spell, trap card, or monster effect is activated, and you control a Yang Zing card, negate the activation, and if you do, shuffle that card into the deck, then destroy one other Yang Zing card you control. And I explained the whole Yang Zing combo thing when I was going over the Yang Zing main deck monsters earlier. So yeah, just one copy of this, and yeah, we're gonna move on into the side deck. Okay, so starting off, we're playing 2 copies of DD Crow. Now, DD Crow is absolutely amazing as a disruptive hand trap because the fact that a lot of people are starting to run techs like Shuffle Reborn in Zodiacs, and this allows you to just banish their target from the graveyard, and of course it has the typical Disrupt Daigusto Emerald and things like that as well. Next off, we're playing 3 copies of Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, which is probably the best hand trap in the game right now. And I couldn't find space in the main deck for it, but it's working pretty well in the side deck right now. And the fact that it's a level 3 light tuner monster is just phenomenal for this deck because you can actually go for Synchros if you don't really need them in your hand at the moment. Next off, we play 3 copies of Flying Sea. Now, this just stops our opponents from XYZ summoning, so this is really great floodgate, especially against decks like Zodiacs or anything else really that relies heavily on XYZ summons. Next off, we're actually playing 1 copy of Emergency Teleport. I put this in the side deck because of the fact that I run 3 copies of Ghost Ogre, so if I side in all 3 Ghost Ogres, I'll actually side in an Emergency Teleport as well. It allows me to go for a Synchro plays, and it allows me to just put a Ghost Ogre on the field in case my opponent wants to activate something. So if my opponent activates like Dragonic Diagram or something, I could just Emergency Teleport a Ghost Ogre out, and then if they activate Diagram, I can actually just destroy it with the Ghost Ogre on the field because she's not only a hand trap, she can activate on the field as well. So a lot of utility there, and it's up to you whether or not you want to run it or not. But next off, I play 1 copy of Raigeki for the field clears if you're going second, because this deck likes to go first. And then I also play 2 copies of Dark Hole just to clear everything out, because Disruption really hurts this deck, and a lot of people like to set up these strong first turn boards. So if you have Dark Holes or Raigekis to clear things out, or even just bait out a single negation or 2, it's going to be pretty good for you. And last but not least, we actually run some spell and trap removal, 3 copies of Mystical Space Typhoon, just to clear anything out before we go into our plays. So yeah, that does it for the side deck. Next off, we're going to go into the extra deck. Okay, so for the extra deck, starting off, we're playing 1 copy of Daigusto Emerald because she allows us to recycle a lot of our cards, especially the Synchro monsters, back into our extra deck so we can go for additional plays on our following turns if we start to run low on resources. Next off, we're playing 1 copy of Bujintate Tsukiyomi. She's actually really good in this deck because if you happen to open up with too many dead cards, you can actually discard them all to the graveyard and then draw a fresh hand of 2 cards. So hopefully you'll draw into something that's more playable. And it also sets up your graveyard for nice plays with like Junk Synchron and things like that if you happen to open up with like Clear Effector or anything of that sort. And because of the fact that she requires 2 level 4 light monsters, you have a lot of synergy with the Melodious archetype as well. Next off, we play some removal in the form of Castel, the Sky Blaster Musketeer. And he's just basically a staple in any deck that can make a rank 4, in my opinion, just in case you need it and you have that toolbox option there. And I also like to play one copy of Tornado Dragon because Tornado Dragon's great for destroying spell and trap cards, both on your turn and your opponent's turn. So this is really good to go for if you want to use your Melodious monsters, special summon a Tornado Dragon first, try and bait things out before you go into your Synchro plays. And yeah, that does it for the XYZs. Next off, we're going to go into the Synchros. So for the Synchros, starting off, we play one copy of Herald of the Arclight. Now we have multiple ways of making this, as I explained throughout the video, and Herald of the Arclight is absolutely amazing because any monster that is sent from the hand or the main deck to the graveyard is going to be banished instead, and during either player's turn, when a spell card, trap card, or a monster effect is activated, you can tribute this card, negate the activation if you do destroy that card. And if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add one ritual monster or one ritual spell card from your deck to your hand. So not only do you get to negate something, but you also get to go +1 off of it by searching something out. And this is absolutely amazing for setting up our Sapphier plays, and also really great just because you can revive this. It's a level 4 light fairy type monster. You can revive this with Ritual Sanctuary to get additional negations on your following turns, or to go for XYZs. And if you detach this from as an XYZ material, you can actually get the effect to search again. So this is actually a really nice card that synergizes pretty well with the deck. Okay, next off we play one copy of TG Hyper Librarian because not really a Synchro deck unless you draw 10,000 cards off this card, right? But normally we can draw probably like 2 or 3 cards off of this on a good hand, so that's why I like to have this card around. It's just pretty good for generating advantage and extending our plays. And of course, the star of this deck is going to be Denlong, first of the Yang Zing. Now, Denlong is this is not like a Denlong turbo deck by any means. This is just a use Denlong first turn to get like 2 negations up, and then you go for a lot of power plays on your following turns and attacking, because this deck likes to go first to set up and all that good stuff. So yeah, that's why I play one copy of Denlong, and Denlong can of course search out your 9 pillars of the Yang Zing and all that good stuff that I explained earlier. Next off, we play one copy of Stardust Charge Warrior, and Stardust Charge Warrior is great because when this card is Synchro summoned, you can draw 1 card. And then this card can actually attack all special summon monsters your opponent controls once each. Probably not going to be happening too often because it has only 2,000 attack, but it's still a great Synchro monster to go into. If you have Red Resonator and a level 4 monster, you can go for this, go for some draws. If you have Rekindling or Soul Charge, you can bring back your Red Resonator, and then you can Synchro with this and go into a Crystal Wing or something like that. Okay, so next off we play one copy of Ancient Fairy Dragon. Ancient Fairy Dragon is great for just getting us more copies of Ritual Sanctuary. You can even destroy your opponent's field spell cards to search out one for yourself. And this helps you regen some life points. Regenning life points is actually pretty fun in this deck. You can go to probably over 10,000 pretty easily because of the Ancient Fairy Dragon and because of Red Resonator. But yeah, so you have a lot of life points to spare for your Trick Clown, Soul Charges, and all that good stuff. So Ancient Fairy Dragon is great, and if you're going first, you can actually use this effect without any drawbacks. You can special summon a level 4 lower monster straight from your hand, and just continue your plays from there. Okay, so next off we play one copy of Stardust Dragon to help protect our field. It's actually pretty nice to just make first turn if you can't make a Crystal Wing because you don't have a Synchro monster that you can use as a material for the Crystal Wing. You can always make Stardust Dragon instead as well. Pretty good. And I don't have my copy yet, but because it got reprinted, I'm just waiting for the prices to drop. We play one copy of Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, which allows us to negate monster effects when they activate. Really, really great card overall. And then we also play one copy of Trishula, Dragon of the Iceberry. We have multiple ways of making this. You can have 2 level 4s and a Kana Watson. You can have your Red Resonator with your Sonata or a Soprano and Cannon. That equals level 9. There's so many different ways that we can make the Trishula. It's just unbelievable. And Trishula is just so good as a power card. You just summon it, you banish 3 of your opponent's cards, 1 from the hand, field, and 1 from the graveyard. And after that, it's pretty hard for your opponent to come back. Another way that we can summon Crystal Wing actually in this deck is if you open suboptimally, you can actually use Denlong to make an Ultimaya Zolkin by using Denlong and your Gemini Seraphonite, and then you can go for the Zolkin. And that's absolutely amazing because you can just set a card and you can summon a Crystal Wing straight from your deck. Of course, you can summon things like Stardust Dragon as well. So Zolkin is just absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, that does it for all of these Synchro cards. Next off, we're going to go into the fusions. So for our fusions, very simple lineup, only 2 cards. We play 1 copy of Gemknight Seraphonite as our Brilliant Fusion target, summon her, and you can get an additional normal summon this turn, which is really nice for putting bodies on the field, and also great because we have so many cards that require normal summoning like Junk Synchron, Red Resonator, Soprano, and all that stuff, right? So Seraphonite's great, and she's also level 5 body, as I explained earlier. You can use it for Sulkin, and you can also have her as a material for like your level 6s by bringing back Kana Watson and synchroing with her for a Star's Charge Warrior and all that good stuff that just generates a lot of advantage. And last but not least, we play 1 copy of Schuberta, the Melodious Maestra. Really great disruption to have, especially if you don't open enough to go for synchro plays. You can always soprano fuse with like a cannon or a sonata, and you can go for this. Great disruption on your opponent's turn and a level 6 body, so if you want, you can always make Stardust with this with Red Resonator. You can make Ancient Fairy Dragon with Synchron Resonator or your Hane Watas. There's just a lot of possibilities with this. And yeah, so that does it for the extra deck, and that does it for this deck profile. So thank you all so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed it or found it helpful, please leave a like, subscribe for more Melodious content, and leave a comment down below letting me know what I can do to improve. And until next time, take care.